Allah decided one surah to be recited at least 17 times each day, where Allah reminds us, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. So everything that we see, touch, and feel, Allah has created it. وَنَحْمَدُهُ وَنَسْتَعِينُ, the one we seek help. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, again in His beautiful names, Allah reminds us He is Al-Razaq, the provider, He is Al-Hadi, the guide. So we might have friends who guide us, we might have friends, a navigation system might tell us to get to some place, but at the end, the person that has made this all happen is our Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who created everything. So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us again, Ihdina Sirata Mustaqim, guide us along the straight path. And that's why we ask in Surah Al-Fatiha for Allah's guidance. وَنَحْمَدُهُ وَنَسْتَعِينُ وَنَسْتَغْفِرُهُ, that when we ask for forgiveness, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, again in His beautiful names, says, yes, I am in charge of everything, but at the same time, when human beings, if you're in charge, sometimes your arrogance gets in charge. And when that happens, sometimes there's no mercy. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us in His beautiful names, yes, He is Al-Qudus, the Holy One, Al-Aziz, the most mighty, but He is also Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, the most merciful and compassionate. He also reminds us He is Al-Wadud, the most loving. He is Al-Karim, the most generous. He is At-Tawwab, the acceptor of repentance. He is Al-Latif, the most kind. And so we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness. For all of you parents, I want you to understand why an institution like this is important. And you young ones, you might be like, oh my God, on a Saturday I have to come here, on a Sunday I have to come to study this, where I could be watching cartoons, I could be on YouTube, I could be playing Fortnite, but I have to be here. And you have to think to yourself why you would have to be here, but I want you to realize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to have a balance. And for you parents, I want you to realize the balance. From all the du'as that your kids know, from all the du'as that we recite. In the Quran, there are at least 40 Rabbana du'as, and there are extra du'as too. There are all the du'as that we know when we're eating and drinking and going in the car. There are du'as and after du'as. But I want you to realize there's one specific du'a. When it was asked by the companions to Aisha radiallahu anha, which du'a did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam say the most? And if you think about this, when you go for Hajj or Umrah, I had the opportunity just to go a month ago. And when you go and you put on your ihram, for Umrah or later on when you go for Hajj time, you say Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik. And the scholars say when you say Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik, and Alhamdulillah, and you know the dua, and you go, the first thing you're supposed to do is tawaf. And the scholars say when you do tawaf, make any dua that you want. But there's one authentic dua at each circuit. So 7 times, the Prophet ﷺ reminded all of the believers to make sure the last part of every circuit, don't forget to say this dua. You think to yourself, which dua did the Prophet ﷺ, through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to say, hey, this dua, don't forget to say it when you go for Hajj or Umrah, at Hajj where all your sins are wiped away, inshallah, if it's accepted, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Prophet, make sure you believers and you say this. It's a dua. I want you guys to realize why it's so important than ever before. Rabbana, our Lord, atina, give us, fid dunya, in this world, hasanatun, good things, wa fil akhirati, in the hereafter, hasanatun, good things, wa qina adhaban nar, and save us from fire. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, make dua for the best in this world. There is nothing wrong, you students and parents, for making sure your kids do well academically, that they have a successful life. You want to make sure you live in a good school district so you can make sure your kids can go well, so they can academically do well. And when they become doctors, lawyers, engineers, educators, whatever businessmen that they do it with ihsan, with the best. Because we need kids to do well, so why you can take care of institutions like this. The institutions and schools and masajids, because you have to make sure that when the deen even spread, there were individuals like Abu Bakr, who was his right-hand man, but also financially his right-hand man. Khadija, who was the most beloved wife, was also financially a big supporter. Uthman, who was a Khalifa and a great friend of the Prophet, but was also a financial supporter. So young ones, when your parents want you to do well academically, you get good deeds when you make intention, Ya Allah, I am learning to be successful so I can take care of my responsibilities of my family and our community, and there's barakah in just going to school. But at the same time, my parents, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to be the best in this world and ask for the best in this world, Allah also wants to make sure you get the best in the hereafter. And for you parents, I remind myself and all of us, In the same way, when we give 100%, that you want your kids to do well. So that way, when you get older, when you pass away, you want them to be like, yeah, Allah, at least I set them up. But in the same way, you want to make sure that you also set them up, not in this world, but also for Jannatul Firdaus. And when you set them up for Jannatul Firdaus, guess what? You will also make sure that you set yourself up for Jannatul Firdaus, inshallah. Because I want you to think to yourself, if you don't mind, if your child's struggling academically, if your child is an 8th grader, and they read 4th grade level English, reading level, you would say, oh my God, this is unacceptable. You would get a tutor. You would pay Kumon $300 a month. You would pay a tutor $50 an hour because you want them to do well. And there's nothing wrong with it. But at the same time, if your child was 12 years old and read Quran at a 4th grade level, how is it that we let that to be accepted? Like, oh, that's okay. At least he knows something. But when now the Quran teacher asks for $10 an hour, like, I didn't. Hafiz Saab's asking for $10 an hour for reading Quran? And what is the Quran? It's the language of Jannah. From all the places, if you want to make sure you want to put some money, this is where you want to put your money. Because at the same time, the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we're not saying that, oh my God, you have to pay all your money, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at least wants us to do 50% of the effort that we do academically. So the young ones, when you study for your exams or math tests and you have to study and you're studying for 15, 20 hours, 1 hour, maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes, Allah even says just read 5 minutes of Quran and you'll be fine. When you play Fortnite, young ones, for 25 minutes, oh, I'm sorry, that's 25 minutes too minimum. 1 hour. An average child right now, 8 to 18, parents, average American, 8 to 18, and I think some of our Muslim kids are involved in this, they watch 4 hours of screen time. That means iPad, phone, TV, internet, 4 hours in a day. That's 28 hours in a week. That someone's telling them what to listen to, what to think, how you think, all this. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you just say, Allah, yes, I gave him a TV, I got him this phone, for some reason somehow your kids will convince you to buy you a smartphone, buy him a flip. But if you have that convinced and you can say, well, I want to make sure they have everything like everyone else. Don't you want them to also have everything in the hereafter? And so that balance of this effort, may Allah bless you for you coming here, for taking this. But I want to make sure it's not a once a week thing. That once a week is to get them together, to motivate them. So the next 6 days is for you guys to take advantage. That what are you going to do? Do we as a family sit down together? When it's homework, did you do your homework? You'll sit there. Did you get it done? Did you get it done? Father like, homework what? There what? Come over here. Let me make sure it's done. Baba's coming. Baba's saying, TV's off. But do we do the same thing and say, what about Quran? Did you sit down? Let me see. I want you to read right now. I want to see for 10, 15 minutes. When you have a 13, 14-year-old, do you still kind of follow them up and say, let me see what you're reciting? This is what you need to make sure. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just wants us to have a balance. All it is that we have to put that same amount of effort on the academic side, on the deen side. Think about young ones. I know sometimes when your Amir says, pray namaz, did you pray namaz? Did you pray salah? But I want you to think about this. Is 24 hours, what's 5 times 5? Any young one? 5 times 5, yes? 25. 25 minutes in 24 hours. Is that a lot? 25 minutes. 25 minutes you're just looking around. 25 minutes you're just playing Fortnite. 25 minutes you're playing outside. 25 minutes you're just talking, oh my God, really? No way. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Talk. Right? You have all these specific things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who created your parents, who gave you the toys, the clothes, the car, anything you want, the shoes, and anything that you want. And you know how when you want that tree, like, Mama, please buy me this one gift. And inshallah, wallahi, you'll never ask for anything else. 6 months later, oh, I don't like those shoes anymore. I don't like that game anymore. Please, just buy me this time, and I will never ask anything else. And then 6 months later, it changes again. It's human nature. So Allah knows that we're never going to be satisfied. But I want you to realize in Jannah we will be satisfied. But at the same time, 25 minutes. Allah is asking us, just if you pray your front prayers, your young ones, at least when you're starting, if you just pray your daily prayer, it might take you 5 minutes. So 25 minutes in 24 hours. Is that a lot of time for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who created everything, who gave you everything? Your body, your hands, your feet. All these specific things I want you guys to realize. And you know how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just a lot? I want you to realize how, just my last thing I'm going to end with. To realize that you can still get good deeds, I want you to realize how small things you can do to get good deeds. when you eat, when you wake up, so I'm going to start off from going to sleep. When you go to sleep tonight, I want you to make sure when you go to sleep, and I'm going to tell you how you can get 8 hours of Hasanat Jannah money by doing this. So when you go to sleep today, when you go to sleep, I want you to make sure before you go to sleep, I want you to read Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Qul A'udhu Birabbin Nas, and Qul A'udhu Birabbin Falaq. I think almost all of you know this. If not, tell your parents to read that with you. And after you read that, you're going to start off, you know you're sleeping dua, if not at least, start off the right side, like the Prophet slept on his right. You get good deeds for sleeping. Even if you start off that way, then when you go to sleep and you don't know what's going on, you flip over on your tummy, you start saliva coming down, you go, you snore. Whatever happens for those 7 to 8 hours, doesn't matter, but you started off the way the Prophet ﷺ told you to, hasanat sleeping. Then you wake up, when you wake up and you go, oh, and then you go to the bathroom, and if you step in with your left foot, and before you step in with your left foot in the bathroom, if you know the dua, Allahumma asqu min khubsi wal khaba'is, if not, at least step in with your left foot, you get good deeds for walking into the bathroom. Then if you go to the bathroom the way the Prophet ﷺ said, by sitting down and cleaning yourselves properly, you get good deeds. Then you walk outside, you look in the mirror, and you say, yeah, the rock has come back. Right? Are you saying, Masha? You look at yourself, MashaAllah, whatever you say. But when you look at yourself and you just say, MashaAllah, thank you, Allah, you get good deeds for looking at yourself. Right? So even if you're putting your hijab on, girls, you go like this and put that with a pin inside, and whatever it is, you get good deeds. Then you walk out of your room and you go down and you go to the kitchen and you see your mama, and guess what? You surprise them, you say, Assalamu alaikum, mama, baba. And then your mom's like, Shukran ya Allah. She said salam to me. Right? She gets happy, she says it, you sit down, you say Bismillah, and you eat, and upset, and you boys upset going, Mama, hungry, food, now, waffles, pancakes. Right? And somehow you surprise them and say, Mama, okay, you get the food and you eat, and you start with your right hand and you say Bismillah, you know the dua, Allahumma barik lana fi ma razaqtana wa qina adhaban nar. Guess what? For every bite, I want you to realize, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through the Prophet, every morsel, you break that Cheerios, like cereal, and you break it down to every little tiny part, for every one of those little small, tiny morsels, like Adam's weight, that small, you get hasanat. So if you break that Cheerios in one, you break it down, it's like maybe 20, 30, 40 different small pieces. For each one of them, you get hasanat. Yeah, that sounded cool, right? From the background? Yeah, you like that one. So, and it comes through. And then you eat it, you say Bismillah, and you eat through it, you get hasanat. Then after you finish, and you say Alhamdulillah, and when you drink your water, but if you drink like 3 sips, you get hasanat for doing it, because why? The Prophet ﷺ did it. Because Allah says, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. In the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is the best of example. So now you drink. Now you pick up, and guess what? After you finish, you pick up your bowl, and you walk to the sink, and you rinse your sink, and you put it away. Then your mom looks at you, and she smiles, and she goes, Ya Allah, I'm so happy. Right? And she just makes dua for you, and the mother's duas are like amazing. Right? And then even your father finally smiles a little bit. He's like, right? And he gets happy. And now you put it that way. Then you go into school. And guess what? You put on your backpack and you walk out of your house. You step in with your, I forgot. You go back upstairs and change your clothes. When you change your clothes, if you start with your right hand and your right foot, because that's the way the Prophet ﷺ did, you get good deeds. These are all ways of getting hasan. Just like praying salah. I want you to realize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to get to Jannah. Right? Sometimes we use that fear factor. Parents, I don't like what we always use. If you don't do this, Allah will be mad at you. If you don't do this, Shaitan will get you. If you don't do this, something will happen to you. Stop using scary tactics. Just say Allah, look all the ways Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to get into Jannah. You just go ahead and you put on your clothes with the right hand, with the right foot. Jannah money. Hasanat that you are getting, that you go throughout and you put on your clothes, and when you walk outside, you step in with your left foot. And if you know the dua, Bismillah, you walk out through Allah, you get hasanat for walking out of the house. Then you get in your car, before you go, Mama, DVD, put on. What's this famous cartoon now?
SpongeBob. SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. All right, SpongeBob. I don't like SpongeBob. Don't watch SpongeBob. Cars or whatever it is, right? And now you put on that, and before you start, you know the dua. Subhanallah, if you know that dua, parents, these are things for us. If your kids don't know it, you need to start memorizing it. Because you need to start saying it so they see it. This is not just like, Islam doesn't change after 20 when you get married. I don't have to say these du'as anymore. No, if you start saying these du'as, the kids will start memorizing these du'as. If you start picking up and saying thank you to everyone in the family, thank you wife for making this award today, kids are like, oh my God, I should thank my mom too. It models, what you model at home is what the kids are going to pick up. 80% of the time is what you see. There's always going to be. So it's so important than ever before to make sure you put those efforts. So with that, I know I'm going to have to finish off. So that is more. And then when you start seeing someone, Assalamu alaikum, you know what you say, Assalamu alaikum? It's a salutation. It's a dua. You get good deeds for saying this. So what I just wanted to end with, because I know I went a little bit over 7:30, so I'm hopefully right on time. I want you guys to realize, for young ones and parents, in a few minutes, I just gave you a few du'as that if you could put in your daily life, it'd be a big thing. And especially family, once a lot, try to pray together. Fathers, I know I always at the masjid, but if sometimes you need to at least have one prayer with the kids, at least a Zuhar, Asr, so the kids know. And then you also know how much they know. So after you finish your salah, why not make du'as as a family? Right? Say, hey, I'm going to start off, Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, protect us, guide us. Son, you say, add on to the dua. Daughter, you add on to that. Wife, you add on to the dua. That way you can bring this together. At the house, at least for 15, 20 minutes, put a timer and say 15 minutes, we're all going to read Quran right now. For 15 minutes. If the kids see you do it, they will also think it's important. We have to realize that if there's a tafsir here on Saturday school, you should be here too. Because if you drop them off and say, I'm going to go to Gurney Mills, I'll be back in 3 hours. You have a good time. Kids are going to be like, see, I could never complain to my father and mom because when they dropped me off, they were there also. They taught Sunday school. I couldn't say anything like, man, you're not here. And then when I graduated and I complained about Sunday school, my father said, why don't you do something about it? You want to complain? Become a teacher. At 14, I became a first grade teacher. I liked education so much. He's like, well, if you're going to do it, try to be the best at it. So may Allah protect us and his parents be greedy for Jannah. That means if you're greedy, that means you want your kids to have things there, du'as. There are 2 du'as you want your kids to memorize if they haven't. Rabbana fili wali walidayya walil mu'minina yawma yaqulu sa rabbana fili wa la fili wali walidayya, my parents, walil mu'minina and all the Muslims yawma yaqulu Islam, the same from the reckoning. And the other one, Rabbir hamhuma kama rabbayani saghira, you want them to make sure they know that. And then another one just to make for yourselves as parents, Rabbi Jani muqima salati wa min zuriyati rabbana wa taqabbal du'a. So please make sure some of these du'as that all of us can keep it in our lives. I ask forgiveness if I joked around a little bit too much. But at the same time, young ones, be proud of what you're doing, but keep on striving. And parents, we all have to work together, especially in a society like this. It's not just the community. It's us have the first responsibility as parents. Jazakallah khair. Subhanaka wa bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.